Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm taking you to a tour at the Keukenhof Castle and the Tulip Experience Amsterdam. During this video I'm going to drop some fun facts here and there, and at the end I will share how much I spent and I will give you 5 essential tips if you're planning a visit. Both the castle and the Tulip Experience are close to the Keukenhof Flower Park, but they are much smaller and the entrance fees are cheaper. I did visit Keukenhof last year, so I didn't find it necessary to return this year, but I might include some of last year's footage in the video to give you an idea of what the park looks like. And we're going to start with the first fun fact of the video, and that is that I used to work at Keukenhof back in 2013. And because of that, I had free entrance to the park, but I never visited for some reason until last year. Now, first things first, the castle. It's located in a small town called Lisse, and it's a bit further away from the main road, which makes the environment around the castle quiet and relaxing. It's very beautiful and green, so you can go out and take some really nice pictures, and there is a small restaurant next to the castle if you would like to have some drinks or snacks. The castle tour needs to be booked online through their website, and it costs €5. The tour is completely in Dutch and it lasts for about an hour and a half, but ours was a little bit longer. It was 2 hours. The guide was super friendly and knowledgeable. She took her time explaining everything and answering our questions. After the tour, I still had the whole afternoon left and found that the Tulip Experience was just around the corner from the castle, so I booked my entrance online about 30 minutes before my arrival time. It's called the Tulip Experience Amsterdam, but it's not located in Amsterdam. It's actually quite further out. The place is called Noordwijkerhout and it's right next to Lisse. The Tulip Experience was surprisingly quiet, even though it was the last opening week of Keukenhof, and it's only open during the Keukenhof season. Last year I went to Keukenhof during the last week and it was packed, so that could be the reason why there weren't that many people at the Tulip Experience. You can book an audio guide for an extra fee, but there is plenty of written text, so I didn't do the audio guide. I didn't find it necessary. Now I'm going to drop another fun fact, and that is that even though the tulip is often associated with the Netherlands, its origins are actually in Persia, which is now known as Iran. The flower went from there to Turkey to the Netherlands, where they basically perfected the art of cultivating tulips. Tulip bulbs were quite expensive back then, so it was a profitable business at the time. And here's another fun fact, and that is that I actually grew up in the north, where there are plenty of tulip growers and they often hire teenagers for seasonal work, especially during the summer. I used to work for one of these companies between the ages of 15 and 16, and that was probably one of the toughest jobs I've ever had, and this barn brought me back to those times. I could even remember the smell. After walking through the tour, you get to the restaurant, which has really insane prices, and from there you get to the highlight of the Tulip Experience, which is the show garden. In the show garden, they allow you to walk around the tulip fields and take some pictures, but you are not allowed to pluck them because it's a show garden. One thing that is important to know is that tulip fields are private property, so you cannot just walk over there and start frolicking over the field and destroying the flowers. Many fields have a fence or are surrounded by water, so they're not that easily accessible to outsiders to begin with. So if you see a picture of someone in a tulip field, then it's most likely a show garden or they got permission from the owner of the field, so please don't run into someone's field without a permission. While the tulip fields are really beautiful to look at, they're not just there for aesthetic purposes. What happens is that after the flower grows out, it gets cut off by a machine so that the liquid that helps the flower bloom goes back into the bulb and allows it to grow bigger. The flowers that are too short to get cut off by the machine needs to be cut off by hand, meaning that the people who do this job spend all day hunched over in the cold, rain, or sometimes even burning sun. And sometimes there is no bathroom around, and this is what I meant, but this is the worst job I've ever had. But we're going back to the show garden. They have many nice areas where you can take pictures, and the Tulip Experience is accessible for people of all ages. While I was there were large groups of elderly people in wheelchairs, but there were also people with very young children in strollers. They had access to the show garden as well, but they could not ride their stroller or wheelchairs in the tulip field because the area where you can go in is just way too small for that. After the show garden, you get to an area where you can take up to 5 tulips for free. I ended up spending about 4 hours there, but it was mostly because my phone battery died and I had to wait for it to charge, and I met some nice people that I ended up chilling with. But you can easily go through the whole thing in less than 2 hours, even if you take your time during the tour at the beginning. Now I'm going to include some of the pictures that I took at Keukenhof last year, and I will post even more on my Instagram page, so make sure you follow me there as well. And in case you noticed, yes, I dug up last year's pictures to make sure that I was wearing the exact same outfit so that it would look like I visited all 3 locations on the same day. And while I'm showing you these pictures, I'm going to tell you how much I spent and give you the 5 essential tips if you want to visit these locations. Well, the list of expenses for today is going to be very short because the Keukenhof Castle tour was free with the museum card and the normal entrance is €5. And the Tulip Experience was €12, so I did not spend more than €12 over the entire day. And now I'm going to give you 5 tips if you plan on visiting the Keukenhof Castle, the Tulip Experience and the Keukenhof Flower Park. Tip number 1 is that it is feasible to visit all 3 locations on the same day, but you just need to go there as early as possible. My recommendation is to do the castle first because you need to book a time slot, and then to do the Tulip Experience second, and to do Keukenhof last because the flower park of Keukenhof is much bigger and you will need quite a few hours there. For Keukenhof, I recommend booking at least 1 week in advance and to not visit during the last week like I did last year, because I went pretty early on, but the park fills up within 1 or 2 hours after opening. Tip number 2 is that there are shuttle buses that go straight to Keukenhof, and you can include a bus ticket when buying a ticket for the park. The buses leave from 4 locations, which are Schiphol Airport, Leiden Central Station, Haarlem Station and the Rij Convention Center in Amsterdam. The ticket that you buy for the bus is valid in all 4 buses, so you don't necessarily need to return at the place that you came from to go to the park. And please note that these shuttle buses stop shortly after the park has closed, so you cannot hang around for too long after closing time. Tip number 3 is that another way of discovering the area is by renting a bike. This will make it easier to go to all 3 locations if you don't have a car. You could also walk. Keukenhof is a 30-minute walk to the Tulip Experience and the castle is somewhere in between. However, I do not recommend walking because if you do visit the Keukenhof Park, you will do plenty of walking and also at the Tulip Experience. You could take the bus to Keukenhof and there rent a bike and use it to go see all the different places. Tip number 4 is to bring your own food, and while Keukenhof does have multiple restaurants, plenty of people do bring their own food because it is allowed and you can just sit on the grass and have picnics over there. And the final tip number 5 is that drones are not allowed at Keukenhof and the Tulip Experience for safety reasons. And even though you can rent a bike at Keukenhof, you are not allowed to ride in the park itself, and that is just to keep everyone safe. While I'm editing and uploading this video, the Keukenhof Park is already closed, but if you want to visit next year, the Tulip Experience and Keukenhof Park will be open between March 19 and May 10th. If you want to be super early, the ticket still starts in November, but from my experience working there is I do not recommend going there during the first week because there is a really big chance that there will not be many flowers. If you like this episode of Let's Go Dutch, please consider subscribing to stay up to date for more content. If you have any suggestions for places to visit and feature in this series, please let me know by leaving a comment, and I'll see you next time. Tot ziens!